Welcome to a super long, yet probably missing a lot of really cool, important information recap of Turn Washington Spies. I was debating, do I do episodes 5 through 8 and then a separate one for 9, or do I do 5 through 9? That way I could just have the final one for the series finale next week. Can't believe I just said those words. Basically episode 5 was Private Woodhall. Abe ends up joining up and with Arnold. And Dylan Saunders from Team Star Kid joins us for his first of 3 episodes. And oh my god, who plays Champ? Champ. Does Champ come in on this one? For those that don't know, Champ, the show kind of combined Champ and Abe to make Abe. Champ is the Scorpius Malfoy lookalike. Basically, Champ, I know I'm gonna get into this, but that episode is pretty much Abe joins up with the fight. A lot of crazy time is going on. Sela comes back, and because, you know, there's a whole like mutiny pretty much, and Anna was like, listen, I need your help. Blah, 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 blah. And is this the episode where they find out about... No, I'm not... No, what? And then we have our man in New York. Because there's a plan to... This is where Champ comes in. I figured it out. Yay. Champ comes in, and basically Caleb and Ben have a plan to send this guy to enemy lines to help out so that we can get some more information. This is where we find out that Mrs. Barnes is a spy for the Brits, and Mary now needs to help them with that because she's at camp. There's a plan to kidnap Arnold, and Peggy wants to help them now because she overhears Cicero and Abe talking. Abe has met Champ at this point, but I forget. I know it was with Townsend, but I forget how. It's been so long since I've done a recap. I should have really written this stuff down. And then the whole thing with his plan to kill Simcoe interferes with the plan to kidnap Arnold, and Abe ends up saving Hewlett, who thank God is back. And because he ends up like saving Hewlett because he knows Simcoe also had Hewlett's, like, wanted Hewlett dead. I could not figure out a way to how I wanted to phrase that. All this stuff is going on, and crazy town, and he tries to do it. It ends up not working, and like Peggy, you know, wanted this stuff, and then it couldn't work out, and crazy town. Peggy ends up kind of backing off on her plan because Benedict really loves their kid. And then there's Belly of the Beast, which sees the death of Dylan Saunders as Joseph Sturridge. A lot of my Star Kid friends made jokes about that one, but he did do a great job because they were trying to him, Abe, and Champ were trying to go over enemy lines. They also met the French at one point, and Hamilton was back in and everything, and Caleb was not doing well because they find out Ben ends up having to go, and I'm so sorry this sounds so confusing, but Ben had to go and replace Caleb because Caleb was drunk, because Simcoe got to him, and Ben was like, I'm your friend, you could have told me, blah, 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 and he ends up going and finding out that they're all going to Virginia, and he keeps trying to convince Washington, all this stuff, and like he's prepping Hamilton to take over for him anyway, no matter what happens, and Caleb's like, no, I'll go find Abe, and then Washington and Talmadge have a fight, and then Caleb ends up saving Abe, because he shoots Simcoe, and then Simcoe falls over the edge and gets like really bad wounds and everything, and Abe can't kill him because he needs to get the intelligence that he got from Arnold, which is that they're leaving Yorktown pretty much undone, and he goes to the French, and the French don't believe it's him, and then all this Lafayette went a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. That was Belly of the Beast, which was episode 8. And then last night's episode was Reckoning, which I also have titled, oh, I just found out that the last episode is actually going to be called Washington Spies. That's actually kind of sad. Okay, hold on. So then Reckoning happens, and basically Peggy has her and Arnold's son named Edward. They end up winning Yorktown. It was a phenomenal episode. I don't know what people on IMDb are thinking, giving it a 7.9. But it was a phenomenal episode. Abe gets really hurt, though. Washington realized he was wrong. All this stuff, blah, 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 blah. Hewlett never forgets and never forgives. Ends up threatening Simcoe, but is like, we live in a circle of life, blah, 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 blah. I would just like to say that this episode is written by Latoya Morgan. She's gotten, like, nominations from various things for her writing, for this show, for other shows. I'm so happy to give the Battle of Yorktown to a female writer. Congratulations, Latoya. It was phenomenal. Oh, I forgot to tell you, Mulligan came back. Oh, I know I was forgetting something with Townsend. Back to last week's episode. Rivington finds out about Townsend, but lets him go. And Mulligan, like, keeps giving him intelligence. Huh. I knew I was forgetting something about Townsend. And that's about it. A lot of people are like, well, how are they going to finish this show where, like, Yorktown's already happened? The war was not over yet, people. The war was not over yet. Akim Bode, who found Abigail, is now found in Cicero. All this other stuff that we know is got to be true. Apparently next week is an extra 10 minutes. It is going to be bittersweet for me. I've watched this show since day one. I helped it get renewed for seasons 3 and 4 through Twitter. I'll get into more of a discussion about that later. But what are your thoughts down below about what's been going on? I'm sorry that this had to be a rushed version. But what are your thoughts, comments? I do know next week will end. It's like an extended episode by like 15 minutes, I think. Because the past few episodes have only been extended by like a few minutes. I think next week's extended by 15. And apparently there is a time jump. And also shout out to Latoya Morgan for getting a Hamilton reference in this week's episode. So I'm intrigued. Next week you're going to see probably a weepy video. Because this is the first show that I've watched since the beginning, since Mythbusters, that actually got a proper ending. Usually when I watch shows, they just get canceled and left on a cliffhanger. You know, they're a mini-series like People vs. OJ. This is going to be hard. This is going to be hard. But it's also going to be bittersweet. I'm going to be happy because they got the ending they deserved. So, please like and subscribe. Thanks, guys.